right here on WGSO on the Ringside Politics program with Jeff Crouere. Let's welcome back to the program Gentleman's Director of Communications to the American Small Business League. Bruce Torres is with us. And Bruce, good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you, and thank you for that Beatles track. I'm dancing in my chair over here.
So, thank you. Yeah, we're big Beatles fans. So, what's the latest with small business in America, Bruce? Give us an update. We seem to have some good indications, but a lot of people are anxious.
Yeah, they are. The good news is that we are a small business nation. We have to remind and teach each other that's exactly who we are, and shift our loyalty and our mindset to our small businesses, which is hard because the media landscape is funded by big businesses. They advertise, they talk about big businesses. The economy is doing well in large part because big businesses are, thriving on the stock exchange and with Wall Street. And big businesses are only 0.1% of all businesses in America. 99.9% are small businesses. So that's the good news. But like you say, it's a struggle. Not only because of still hesitancy to expand and invest because of tariff uncertainty. Okay, that's fine. Hopefully the long-term effects will be great. But the bottom line, and then I won't be a mic hog, is our particular issue. Folks can learn all about it at our site, ASBL.com. It's trying to make sure that the federal contracts that are supposed to go to small businesses actually go to small businesses. They don't. We need everybody to learn this and to pressure Congress and your senators and the president and Kelly Loeffler, administrator of the SBA, to say, is this true? If so, fix it.
What is the problem with that? Why isn't that happening, Bruce?
Because, again, big businesses own and control Washington, as they have since World War II. In 1961, Eisenhower left office and warned us about the military-industrial complex. In 1953, Congress passed the Small Business Act. They had to pass a law that said a fair portion of federal contracts has to go to small businesses. Well, we're 99% of all businesses. 98% have 100 employees or less. And today, the law says only 23% of all federal contracts are supposed to go to small businesses. Is that fair? But
No.
It's worse than that. Wait, because
Right.
Our freedom of information, legal battles, congressional investigations, the SBA's Inspector General has found that small business contracts regularly go to big businesses worth billions of dollars in contracts every year go to big businesses. My boss, 40 years experience, 20 years he organized, the American Small Business League. We see in reality only about 3% of federal contracts go to small businesses.
Wow.
That means 97% of the contract dollars, Jeff, are going to the 0.1% of all businesses that are big businesses. And that's the elephant in the room.
What's the breakdown of political donations between big business and small business? I mean, are we talking about big business controlling the politicians because of the donations that they make?
Yes, that's a huge part of it. And another part of it is the revolving door between the executives of the big businesses who then come into the various agencies as not only maybe administrators, but even just plain as contract officers. So you're a contracting officer at a federal agency, and you steer a small business contract to Boeing or Raytheon or one of the giants that always get all the contracts or most of the contracts. They love you for that. The SBA accepts you saying that's a small business contract, and then you're bored or a new administration comes in. You go get hired at that company. They're happy to have you and reward you with a nice paying job because you steered contracts to them that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten.
Right.
And then there's bad policies, there's lack of oversight, and it's just a greased palm type of situation across the board. And we need to hear about more corruption in Washington, D.C. like we need a hole in the head. But this is a nuts and bolts, in your wallet kind of issue that's most important.
So what about lobbying on behalf of small business? I mean, is that what the American Small Business League does? I mean, are they up there trying to get Congress to look at these issues on behalf of small business?
Yep. And we want everyone to know that we're doing that, and we need everybody's help. We have a project called Don'tCheatWomen.com that wants to raise from 5% to 15% the amount of small business contracts that are supposed to go to women-owned businesses for all the reasons you can read about at Don'tCheatWomen.com. And there's a page there called What You Can Do, and everybody can learn everything I just said, get convinced about it, swipe a letter that we drafted. Dear Senator, dear Representative, this is this problem. This is what we want you to do. Raise that from 5 to 15. That would push from 23 to 33%. By the way, all those big businesses, Jeff, that get those contracts, they're already big. They don't create any new jobs.
Right.
But if small businesses got those contracts, they would create an extra 2 million jobs every year. That almost would double the amount of jobs being made. A huge economic boom.
How, before I let you go, Bruce, and thank you for your work, and we're linking to it, by the way, on our podcast page, what kind of job is the director of the SBA doing, Kelly Loeffler? How would you rate her?
More of the same, business as usual. She's a deflector. She's a magician, just like every president is. They talk about the loans. They talk about the great programs. They want you to think that they're serving small businesses. They're not, because they let small business contracts go to big businesses. That's the problem.
And as far as the loans, has it been streamlined? Have they been getting more money out the door to small businesses? Has that been improved at all?
I have the sense that not really, but we focus on the contract. See, you just demonstrated what you're not to be blamed. You ask the average American, what does the SBA do? They help you get loans.
Right.
They don't want you to know that one of the legs of their tripod is the contracts. They're supposed to make sure that those contracts go to small businesses.
Well, the reason I'm asking about loans is I know people that have them. I also know people that have been frustrated trying to get them. And I'm just curious if they've made it any easier. And, I heard from Kelly Loeffler that they've shut down loans that were going to, I guess, Minnesota, because you had so much fraud there in some of these loans. But anyway, it just seems
that's a great thing.
For legitimate people, it seems to be hard. For people that are trying to scam, it seems to be easy. So, I don't know.
And also, do we have 30, 60 seconds? Because everyone needs to know that Washington should be serving the 99% of all businesses that are small businesses, not the 0.1% that are big, but it's the total opposite. The Commerce Department, which represents the big businesses, has, I think, a $10 billion budget. The SBA, supporting small businesses, has like a $500 million, $600 million budget. Okay? And of the 36 million small businesses in America, Jeff, something like 50 or 60,000 ever get a loan. And like 50, 60, 70, 80,000 of small businesses ever get a small business contract. It's all in the hands of the 0.1% of businesses that are big businesses.
And I think you're making a very legitimate point, and something that is eye-opening to a lot of listeners who probably did not know about those statistics. So thank you for sharing that, Bruce, and the work you're doing, and look forward to having you back on. We're linking to all this information on our podcast page at WGSO.com. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.